So, episode 19, if I remember correctly, it was like right at the beginning part, which is very funny because episode 19, if I were to go into my video footage area, hang on a second. Oh, right, it's been archived. All right, hang on a second. Yeah, it's in archives right now. Actually, is it? Maybe is it fourth session? No, it can't be fourth session. No, close though. It's close to the fourth session, but it's in a different area. Sercacraft session 3. Let's see here. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's like at the end of a session. That's very weird. Hang on. I just wanted to double check something here. Hang on. Because it was around 30 seconds, correct? Yeah, because 30 seconds I put the bed, and then as soon as you see it, bam. You see set game mode to survival, then spectator creative mode, and then survival, then back to creative mode, spectator creative mode, survival. Went to bed, got a CD place, what a deal, spectator, survival, spectator, then survival again. That's what happened. And and again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but you're at the end of a session. Like and this is literally all that I told that person. If I can load up that Discord message. And this is all that I said. I don't believe I said it in a mean. I didn't mean it in a mean way. But the idea is pretty sound, and I feel like I needed to defend myself in such a way as well. So all that I replied to them was that the game mode switches weren't because like I wanted the series to be like I wanted the series to be like the series is supposed to be like survival only, but yet I'm breaking the rules or anything like that. No. I use the game mode switches primarily. There's another mushroom island over here. I want to go explore that. But like it was only for Sanctuaria. And you could clearly see it within the videos like earlier. You could see that I was only using it to get into Sanctuaria and getting out of it. Because it is surrounded by barriers, there is no feasible way of you getting in or out of it. That's it. So, so at the beginning of the session, you could see why that I was using it because it is surrounded by barriers, and I've never said anything about the series being survival only. But I also added in though that in the future, that nobody will be able to access commands at all. We're all going to be unopt, so they don't have to worry about us like switching to creative mode because there will be no way to do so. How can you switch to creative mode if nobody's opt? And if anybody says, "Oh, because you have the server, you could easily just do this," right? Hang on, I got a remote in. I got a remote in. But because I have the server, I can easily just do this, right? Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, fine. I can't spell my name sometimes. Like, oh, it didn't even pop up. That's actually kind of interesting. Like, I can obviously like do I can obviously just do this, right? Like, look, I can easily just de-op myself and op myself, right? Like, oh man, like this is not true survival because I can clearly do this. I am such a hypocrite. Like I can easily do this. No. Like I'm not going to be doing that. And the only reason why I want to do like Sercacraft in this kind of like in this way kind of thing, right? Like I like Sercacraft to be a survival as much as possible. Which is why I don't like switching to um which is why I don't like switching between creative mode and spectator all willy-nilly like that, right? That's why I made sure that for Rosaria base, uh, you can open the door, right? You can open the hatch, kind of thing, right? And same thing with Varacle from 1.16. Varacle had a barrier sort of system around it, but yet you could still get in there. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. And same idea with with the Razzacrafts and all that stuff. While they were mostly like high in the sky, though, there was always an in-world method of getting in there, not just Elytra. I think one of the ways I think it was Razzacraft, if I'm remembering correctly. Was it Razzacraft? Yes, it was Razzacraft. For Razzacraft, it was using a Riptide Trident to get in. I don't remember if I showed off that world. But yeah, I had an area, and specifically that I would Riptide Trident my way onto that area. And I chose that specifically because, like, I really wanted it to have that. You can't get up there, right? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. If you somehow get off the compound, that's your fault. I'm not going to be in charge of that. I'm not the one that should be in charge of keeping the kids alive. Anyway. But yeah, so pretty much the whole entire case that, like, this entire series, the Sun Survival, is just really weird. And the only command that we're going to be able to use, if I've never actually tested this out, so let's go test this out really quick. So we're going to de-op myself. Oh no, right? You can actually only use, well, most of these are actually because of, I think this is because of a mod, this is because of a mod, this is because of Fabric API thing. I think this is a mod too. But there's only a few commands that you can use, right? But the idea is that, like, if you want to go to your dimension, you're going to go /trigger. Unfortunately, Treecapitator is the only data pack, right? But everybody's going to be given, like, the teleport command to the dimension, right? But the idea is that we're going to be using a TPA/TP, like a TP accept and TP deny system. You'll probably see it in the next session where we will be testing around with Sancturia. So it may or may not have this removed from the overworld or not. I don't know. The idea is yes, but the execution might be no as of yet. I'm not quite sure if I want to do it just yet, but I definitely do want to stay close to here. Now, in case anybody's wondering, would I love to have been able to build a portal? The idea is solid. The problem is that we want to be able to ensure security, right? You want to make sure, though, that, like, the world is, the dimension is your vault, right? You want to make sure that nobody can enter it unless you give them permission to enter it. And especially for a place like Sancturia, where it has a lot of cheated, hacked items in there, right? You don't want to necessarily have everybody having access to that area. So Sancturia actually is going to be a very cool location because of several actually good reasons. For one, the biome is treated as a mushroom island. So it's treated as this, where no natural mobs can actually spawn except for a select few. Now, I do want to change them a little bit, so though, like, cows, pigs, sheep can spawn, because only mushrooms and axolotls, I think, and something else in there, I think low squids as well, can spawn. So I want to change that to, so though, like, the farmlands can actually spawn too. The other thing as well is that I made the water be as colorful as the warm ocean. Now, the one thing that I have to do for Sancturia, and I might do it off screen, but I might collect the materials on screen, sort of like I did with the pink petals, despite the fact that they are still right here. But it gave me the idea, right? Do it, and obviously I could just see how many pink petals I have, right? But the idea is that like the whole entire water will be surrounded by these cool corals, kind of thing. And if I can't make tropical fish spawn, or at least spawn very aggressively, kind of thing, for the axolotls, then yeah. Also, if you want to move any creature from the overworld to the dimension, how are you supposed to do it? That's what structure blocks are for, I'm afraid, because that's the only other method I can think of doing it. But the thing with structure blocks is that, like, for any entities, as far as I am aware of, I think paintings are the only odd case of this. When you use a structure block to move entities, I think it saves all the data from them. That's how I was able to move all my bees and such from like one world to another. Did I have anything else? I don't think I had any other creatures. I think it's mostly just like item frames and paintings and such. Which is why you never see me actually having any paintings anymore in Rosaria base, is because of the actual thing that happens. Other than that, I think that's actually I think that's it for the most part. Mostly just want to give an update telling you that the data pack is about 90% done. Somebody from the server did actually recommend that we should probably have a lock chest thing. Oh, right, yeah. So how that's going to work is that, like, let's use that command over in this area because I only want myself to access the chests and such. So what happens is that if I use the trigger command, so we'll say /trigger lock chest, let's say. There's not a scoreboard objective for that. But let's say I did have that, right? So I use that /trigger command, and what it does is that it executes it on this chest that'll lock it so that only I can open it. And then I think there is a way you can do it. I can't quite remember how exactly it works. And I don't know if you could put a radius on it. Because I'd rather have put like a 10 block radius circle around it, similar to how I have the jump thing for Rosaria base kind of thing. So all it has to do is it just grabs like a 10 block radius kind of thing, or it grabs like something that's decently sized, right? Meanwhile, all of Sanctuary, I want it to all be locked, but I'm not going to make it like that big, right? I'm just going to make it so that like you just have to use a /trigger command. So the reason why is because if you want to make a community chest, so let's say I want to build a community chest up here kind of thing, but if this was in my dimension and every chest in that dimension has to be locked, then obviously I can't do that, right? But if it's a /trigger command where you yourself have to execute the command every time, then that's better, because then obviously you can make a community chest kind of thing. And you also still have to check all the trap chests and change them too, so there's that too. I changed them all into normal chests because that was only a 1.12 thing. You are annoying. All of you are annoying. Anyway. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to give you guys an update of. It's been weeks since the last time I recorded. I'm not joking. When was the last time that the recording actually was there? Hang on, let's go take a look at this. The 1st of July. It is now the end of July. It is now 31st of July. So 30 days. We'll say 21 days of doing this kind of thing. Only about 4 or 5 hours a day, give or take. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be a no life and do it. I was on again, off again, working on my Oblivion mod and just patching things for that, and also working on this data pack as well. I did not know you could do that, but it's floating. Make another child. Good. I'll wait until the child gets born before I tell them to boot it. Alright, I want to check the perimeter, and then that'll be it. Ah, see? Look. So the child was able to escape, or at least one of the childs was able to escape. That's what I mean, though. They're still able to escape, despite the fact that there's water there. How did you escape, buddy? I don't know. I'm just going to do what I did the last time somebody escaped from the compound. We have a runaway, and I don't have any. But it's fine. I'll go find one. So that's going to be it for today. Next time, the trial chamber will probably most likely be done. And hopefully Sanctuaria will have its own dimensions. That way that we can stop needing to use the different commands. And then nobody will be opt so that they can be used, so that they can use commands. And remember, we do not have any spawn chunks anymore, so which means that everybody should be all good to go and be happy. Alright. So I'll see you guys next time for some more Sercacraft.